Uh, all right. So it's been a while since we've done one of these. I apologize for that to the few of you who may have been following. It's been busy. I think the last video was 5 months ago in June. I think the 15th. We moved from Utah to Portland. Maybe 3 weeks after that. June, July, August, so a month and a half after. But that month and a half was real busy. Like we put our house on the market, we had to sell it, and that took a lot of work. Getting it ready to sell. And between the time when it was selling and if we moved here, we moved in with my in-laws. And this computer was packed away, so like that was a few weeks where it just wasn't used. It took a week to get out here. It took even longer to get things unpacked. It took even longer to just get situated. This computer, the one where all of this is on, like I think I turned it on twice the entire time I was out here. And then when things finally did settle down, I had this conference that I went to and I was presenting at, and it took me a while to get my presentation ready, so I was focused on that. And then a few weeks after that conference, we went on vacation for a couple of weeks, and so there was no computer. Like we were abroad, so even data was off on our phones. Yeah, so there's just been a lot, and it's been really hard to focus in a way that would let me like be creative. I kind of miss that. But I'm back and it's here. So there is an update. It's a small one, but I think it does a lot to change. Like it's a big change. It's a small update, but it's a really dynamic change, I think. So before, movement is all on the X and Y axis, right? Up, down, left, right, and any combination in between there. And you would press a button to fire in the direction you're moving, and you're facing the direction you're moving at all times. With some slight caveats to, like, I think there was a precedence where if you were going on the X axis, but then also held one of the Y's, so if you were going left and then held down simultaneously, you would always face left. Even if you started by going down and then held right, like you would face in the X axis. So not precedence, but priority was given to X directions. So that's changed, but a big part of the controls have changed now too. So instead of my moving direction determining the way I face, the mouse is going to do that. So we're going to add the mouse to the game, and I'm going to move it around the character, and you'll see he starts to follow it. And so he's always facing, so like where it's in the middle, kind of at a 45 from him. Once I favor up, he'll look up. Once I favor down, he looks down. So, and I get like the absolute value of whatever the XY coordinate is. And then the highest one is what gets that priority. And it's all relative to the player. So 0, 0 would be here on him. Negative X, positive Y up here. Yeah, and so I thought this was cool. So before, if I wanted to fight, it looked good as a movement thing to be able to do this. But fighting felt rigid, because you could only shoot in that direction. And, even like if you move, like that was how you could move up and down. Like, so if you were doing any tricky movement, tricky, but if you were doing anything more complicated than a regular XY, your firing was still prioritized to left or right, a horizontal thing. So your vertical attacks were really limited. So now it still depends on the direction you're facing, but you get a lot more control over the direction you're facing. So now we get this situation where the character's like strafing, and this is kind of common. You see this in a lot of different like shooter stuff, like top-down shooter games. But as I'm here, if I want to back away from him, I can, and still shoot him. Let's see. All right, so we'll get these guys. And like if I want to do like a strafing run, like something like that, I can. See, and it's because I'm able to I feel like I get to move around a little bit more. I've got a lot more control over the player, which is a lot of fun. And in a sense, I feel more accurate because I can like put the mouse on him and it helps me know, you know, I'm going to shoot in the right direction. Now, at some point, it might be cool to just turn that into a target and just fire at the target, you know, and instead of the projectile being set to an X and Y, maybe it rotates to whichever angle so that it fires off in that direction. We'll see. I'm not too sure what I want to do with that part yet. But, where's my mouse? Oh, I'm on the other monitor. Yeah, anyway, so that's the big update. It's not a huge one, but I feel like it's a cool one. You know, like it adds a lot to the combat, and it hopefully will make the game more fun to play, since combat will be a big part of it. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I can start doing this more regularly again, and get some stuff going. I've been doing Wars research, got some more ideas kicking around, and I'm going to play around with that. So in the meantime, thanks again, and if you're still here, thank you. Hopefully this starts to see some really good progress soon.